We are back with 4 Underdog over-under season-long pick'ems, and these are some absolute locks. So if you want to tail them, code Fortune on Underdog. Let's get right into it. Najee Harris, over 875.5 rushing yards on the season. I probably should have saved this one for last because everybody hates Najee. Every time I talk about him, my comments are filled with Najee hate. So people might stop listening after I just say that. But if you're a good dude, if you're a really nice person, you should sit here and hear me out. And if you still disagree, cool. You can fade me. All right? Simple as that. Look at his game log. 1,200 yards in his rookie season. 1,000 2022. And 1,000 last season. And what do I like about Najee Harris this year? Well, A, their offense is better. Kenny Pickett is gone, and Russell Wilson is in. They buffed up their offensive line. 2 new rookies should be in there. One of them is Troy Fautanu, if that's how you say that. First-round draft pick at offensive tackle. They should be atop the half of the league. In most offensive line rankings I see, they range from 12 to 16. So, solid offensive line. Another thing I like to point out in this game log is that he's played 17 games in all 3 seasons. He has not missed 1 game. So, he's beaten this line by at least 200 yards every season. Let's say he misses a couple of games. Then maybe it might be a little bit closer, but 875, I expected this to be 975. But my favorite thing of all, offensive coordinator is now Arthur Smith. And this is why everyone hates him, because Arthur Smith handed the ball off to Jonnu Smith once. He gave Cordero Patterson a couple of carries last season when he had Bijan Robinson. And everybody thinks he's just horrible, and everyone's going to fade Najee because of that and because of Jaylen Warren. I don't really know if people think that Jaylen Warren is going to come in and be the RB1. That's what it seems like. Najee still out-carried him by over 100 carries last season, and I don't expect that to change. No matter, I don't really care that Jaylen Warren's efficiency metrics are better. He's not the bruiser. It's Najee Harris. Let's just get into the second one, and this is another Steeler. This one is George Pickens over 1,500 receiving yards. So this is kind of nuts to me. I'm not sure if it's this low because Arthur Smith and his run rate, which, by the way, I forgot to say this when I talked about Najee. Look at the run rate here. I'll pop it up right here. Top 10 every single season, except for when Cordero Patterson was his running back one. Najee is going to fucking feast. Top 10 rate every single fucking time. Okay? That was kind of a big selling point, so shit, forgot that. George Pickens, 1,000 yards, well, he got 1,140 yards last season with Kenny Pickett at quarterback. Dog shit. Now Deontay Johnson is gone, who that leaves an absolute shit ton of targets wide open. They didn't really bring anyone in besides drafting Roman Wilson on day 2, I think, of the NFL draft. George Pickens is the guy in this offense. And not only is getting rid of Kenny Pickett a beautiful thing, but grabbing Russell Wilson is perfect for George Pickens, because George Pickens specializes in the deep ball aspect of passing, and so does Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson has one of the best deep balls in the league. He's in the top 10 of all the deep ball metrics that you can find. And I think this is going to be a match made in heaven. George Pickens' breakout season, but honestly, look at this. I mean, if he doesn't break out, he should still break 1,000 yards. Another guy that hasn't missed a game in his 2-year career. We'll keep that one short and brief. And before we get to the next 2, if you are going to fade me or tail me on any of these picks, hopefully I'm convincing you to tail me, but you do you. Make sure you use code Fortune on Underdog Fantasy. You can get up to $250 in free bonuses. If you want to tail or fade the first 2 I said, and deposit $10 and throw it on there, they'll give you another $15. $10 would win 30. If you did all 4 of these picks I'm going to talk about, $10 would be 120. You tail me, you fade me, you do whatever. Do whatever. And along with that, I am hosting a free fantasy football league, free of entry, and first place gets $100. I'll be in this league, because if you think I'm a stupid idiot that has horrible fantasy football takes, come join the league and try to beat me in fantasy football. First place gets $100. And I'll just tell you right now, go DM me on my Instagram, fantasy.fortune, if you are interested. But here's how it will work. I will send you $5 to $10 depending on if you're on Underdog or not. If you're not on Underdog, I'll send you $10. You deposit $10 into Underdog with my code FORTUNE, and you're entered in the league to win $100, and you'll also have $15 in Underdog to use how you want. Tell me on these picks, save it for NFL season, maybe do some best ball drafts, whatever. If you're already on Underdog, you can do that same thing with my 3 other apps. One of them, Sleeper, Dabble, Rebet. If you're not on any of those, you can do that with $5. Just DM me on my Instagram if you're interested in a free $100 fantasy league. I don't know why you wouldn't. I've already got a couple entries in this league. I can send you screenshots of me reimbursing these guys. But let's get into the third one. And this one is Justin Herbert, over 3,600.5 passing yards. This line is fucking nuts. Like, this is nuts. Last year was the first year in his NFL career that he didn't hit this. Now, obviously, he fractured that finger and missed the last whatever games. I don't have it in front of me, but you can see it up here. 4,300 yards in 2020, 5,000 in 2021, 4,700 in 2022, and then got injured last year and slightly missed it. Now, why is this line so low? I know. Because Jim Harbaugh is the new head coach and Greg Roman is the new offensive coordinator. And they are 100% chance that they run the ball at a top 10 rate. Top 5, probably. Maybe even top 3 or top 1. This team wants to fucking run the ball. Herbert also lost Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler. So I guess he's just supposed to throw for 3,000 yards now. Now, let's just put into perspective what that is on a per-game basis. So, to hit this line, 3,600 yards, he would only need to average 212 passing yards per game. Now, in 2020, he averaged 289 yards per game. In 2021, he averaged 295 a game. 2022, he averaged 279 per game. And even last season, where I said he didn't hit this because he got hurt, he averaged 241 passing yards per game. This line is a fucking joke if he doesn't miss a large chunk of time. I know that his receiving core is Lad McConkey, Josh Palmer, DJ Chark, and Quentin Johnston. But Justin Herbert is an elite quarterback that has made do with the shitty situation he's had in his 4-year career, whether you agree or not. I also don't think this team is going to be as good as people think it is. The Mike Clay defensive ranking is 20-something. 25th in the NFL, which is beautiful. Because the worse your defense is, the more points that other teams are going to score on you, and the more points that other teams score on you, the more you're going to have to pass the ball. I think they're going to have to pass the ball more than people think. Obviously, running is their identity, but when they get behind, they can't just try to keep running fucking Gus Edwards. So I don't think their running backs are all that special. So this is a great line, in my opinion. It seems like a trap. Maybe it is. He plays 15-plus games. There's no fucking way he doesn't hit this line. Let's get into my last one, and this is fucking Christ. It's a super, super weird pick. But Tyler Conklin of the New York Jets, give me over 425.5 yards, receiving yards. Look at his game log, all right? 2021 with Minnesota, 593. 552 the year after with the Jets, and last season 621. 61. Look at this. 87 targets in each of the past 3 seasons on the dot. 58, 61, and 61 catches. This guy plays 17 games. We know what he's going to do. Aside from that, Aaron Rodgers. I really should have looked up before I started this video what Aaron Rodgers' target share to tight ends is in his career, but we all know, if you've been paying attention to fantasy football and NFL for the past 6-7 years, Aaron Rodgers is a big fan of his tight ends. Throwback to Robert Tonyan scoring 10 touchdowns. Mercedes Lewis, Jermichael Finley back in the day. Aside from that, Mike Williams seems to be the second option on this team outside of Garrett Wilson. He is going to have a very slow start. He tore his ACL around the middle of last season, so he might take some time to get back on the field, and when he does, he may be a little slower. He's coming into like 29, I think it's 29-year-old season. So what do they really have outside of Garrett Wilson? Obviously, you got Breece Hall, but I see no reason for Tyler Conklin not to hit a 425-yard line when he's topped that by at least 100 each of the past 3 seasons, topped it by 200 last season. He's topping this line with Zach Wilson, Mike White, who's that hefty lefty, like ripped guy? Streveler? I forget. You know who I'm talking about. Maybe I'll pop up a picture of him. He's doing this. He's hitting this line with fucking nobodies. I don't think there's any chance in the world if he plays every game this season or misses only a couple, he's getting 500 receiving yards. This is one of my favorite sneaky little picks. So, tail the Tyler Conklin line with Code Fortune on Underdog Fantasy. Thank you for watching. Next video will be the unders.